Welcome back. This is The Roottrees Are Dead, episode 4, I believe. It's been a little while since I recorded the first 3 episodes. I needed to kind of record them reasonably quickly. I think I did them over 3 days, and then I had to do some stuff, and now I'm back, and I got a bit concerned that I'd forget everything. But I also remembered what I wanted to do was rearrange my... I'm Stuart, by the way. You know that. You're here. I'm Stuart. Hi. Welcome. Be good. Okay, I'm into it now. Pleasantries over. To business. So where we are in the middle of this is we've got this big old family tree, and we're trying to fill it out. And we got quite a few things. I mean, all the yellow things are things that are correct, locked in, confirmed. Anything else that's still in blue is not yet confirmed. And if you've already forgotten how this works, everybody needs a picture. So to finish the game, we need to do all the main people. And the main people are these big ones. These spouses, I guess. So the main people are the people in the Roottree bloodline. Because the whole point is the president has died. And I don't know that, who gets power, say, shares, control, money, whatever, is all determined by the Roottree bloodline. And everyone with a big square on the family tree is in the bloodline. Spouses, not in the bloodline. Anyway, to complete the game, we need to finish all the main people. The main people need a picture, a name, and an occupation. And hopefully that much you all know. But it's always good sometimes to remind ourselves of what the hell's going on, especially someone like me, who barely knows what's going on. Joyous for you to watch. Anyway, I was finding the notepad a little bit chaotic, and I don't know if I've helped, but I'm going to try and stay on top of it. So actually, between recordings, like about an hour ago, before I did this, I went into it, and I kind of rearranged it a little bit. Just to give me, because I got to the point where I was collecting a lot of information and I wasn't really sure where it all was anymore, and I was losing track of everything I'd learned. And it's especially hard when you might have a gap between recordings. I'm only recording essentially 4 hours a week. So there's going to be some kind of pacing with that, even if I did do 3 in a row, which I might end up doing again this week. Anyway, nonetheless, my point is, it gets hard to keep on track of all the information you're storing, especially when it's a bit loosey-goosey like this notebook. So I kind of tiered it, T-I-E-R, tiered it, in a little bit of a branching tree structure format, which, as I was doing it, I thought this might not be that useful because we're going to find information about some people. Like up here, we've got some people we don't know who the hell they are, and so it's going to be tricky to kind of find a place for them. But as it happens, I've kind of got up here information about general generational stuff. So this generational line are called the 5 pieces, the direct children of Elias and Gwyneth Roottree. This generational line are called the next gens. And then this line down here are called the... no, that's the next gens. The free spirits. And then this generation, I think, is so far unnamed. The free spirits are Carl Roottree's generation, who is the father who died with his family in the kind of setup to this whole game. Anyway, so yeah, and then I've kind of broken it down into, so I've got this one here is where I'm putting all the things for the general 5 pieces themselves. And then I've kind of, within that, I've got 5 piece 1, 5 piece 2, 5 piece 3, etc. So the 5 piece 1 thing, which I don't have anything in at the moment, will sort of deal with this section. Everything that's branching off of the eldest 5-piece child. 5 piece 2 will deal with everything branching off here. 5 piece 3 will deal with everyone branching off unknown. I think I'm going to try and find out his name first. I think that's what I'm going to try and do. we'll get to my plan. So if you look at 5 piece 3, which actually has information in it, I got just some little notes for myself. I wrote that the children are Lawrence. This person is Clancy. So this is the bit of evidence we have that showed that that Carl's dad is called Clancy, and then there'll be a child 3, child 4 who we'll figure out. And then nested under the 5 piece 3 line, I've got the Rafferty line for these people down here. These are the Raffertys. The main family line, so the Roottrees that died, will come off this branch. We don't know who this person is yet, although pretty sure they're called Clancy. The child 3 line, which is Jim Roottree and Diamond LaRue, will come down here, and then the child 4 line, which we don't have a note for yet, but that will sort of deal with this thing, hopefully, and that sort of gives me a little bit of structure, and and sort of so on and so forth. So there's this structure here is everybody doing with 5 piece 4, and I've kind of blocked it all together because there's actually not many people. It's mainly dealing with Gwyn Roottree, the actor, and everybody that comes underneath her. And then 5 piece 5 is the miracle line. So all this stuff here, of which I haven't really blocked in a load of evidence for, but a lot of it was on the table. Now, I'm also thinking, I'm not sure if I should sort of start deleting some of this as I've kind of confirmed it, because I don't need it. Like, it's useful to have it there before things are confirmed, so I know where I got my information from. So if I'm got my little family tree up and I've who is unknown, for example. So this person here, if I had a name in there, or in fact, Miracle Roottrees here, not confirmed yet because you need 3 fully filled out people before it'll confirm it for you. I like to know where the evidence is for that. Why did I say this was Miracle Roottree, etc. And there isn't actually evidence here yet, but it might be in the 5 pieces line. Miracle Roottree arrived so late in his mother's life that doctors swore he wouldn't survive his first year. So that's sort of some information from the Roottree network. Whatever. Anyway, so some of this stuff is useful while it's pending, so I can be like, why did I think that? And I can sort of look it up and be like, but then once everybody's confirmed, once this person's confirmed, like Gwyn, do I still need that evidence? I don't know yet. I'm going to keep it up for now because I quite like tracing my thoughts back, and I don't want to accidentally get rid of stuff that I think I might need later. I'm bound to do that. I mean, it's not deleted forever because obviously all this stuff comes from internet searches and books and things we look up, so it's always going to be available, but actually just having these little highlighted bits of evidence that show what the hell I was thinking are useful. So that's where we are right now. I had a little bit of thoughts. I noticed a couple of things while I was moving some of these notes around. It sort of happened off screen, but don't worry about it. We'll deal with it. I think now I don't know what I noticed. Oh, I know what I noticed. I noticed something. I don't know. I think I started, yes, I was like thinking about yes? Yes, I think I wanted to look at this. And I think I wanted to hang on, main family. Clancy. That's it, Clancy. Carl, Clancy. No, sorry. Unknown, Pop, father of Lauren, Clancy, Carl. So I think I wanted to like lock in on this person. And as I was moving things around, that's when I noticed Clanced, Trust. And I thought that might be related. So I thought maybe we could look that up. Because Pop was the head lawyer and helped write a legal document called the Clanced Trust, which might I don't know. It sounds related, right? And I think my general plan, I think, is to maybe start to fill out some of the lines we've already started on, and see if we can get that going. Like, we've got a few people pending. I'd like to know who this person is. I'd like to know more about the 5 pieces. I think there's information out there about the 5 pieces that we haven't really explored yet, because it seems baffling that we've not know all their names yet. Who have we got? We've got Miracle. We've got Margalite, I think. Now, why do we think it's Margalite? Let's see if we can back this up. Margalite is Gwyn's mother. I don't know why I think that. See, this is exactly the kind of shit I'm talking about, where I haven't quite... Aunt Margot. Gwyn's mother's Margot. So if I look at this up... I think that might be why I thought she was called Margalite. So let's just bear that in mind. So what are we waiting for to get any confirmation? We've got... I'm calling this person Miracle 1. The eldest Miracle Rootree filled out. This person not filled out. This person needs a name. Clark Rafferty is filled out and I think is correct. So I think next port of call, see if we can get Clancy, see if we can get any information on Clancy, see if we can figure out the names of these bloody Roottrees. So the 2 eldest, we don't know their names are, but we know Zachariah Morden is the eldest son of the eldest Roottree. I remember that much. So let's try and just focus on that. So the 5 pieces, Clancy. Might be able to get more down here. We haven't really learned anything about these siblings in the next generation line, but I think Lauren, who is the author and writes a lot about the family, does talk about it a lot. I think she spoke a little bit about who got the presidency and why that was a bit controversial. But you see what I mean? Right now I'm doing it and I'm like, where the hell did I put all this information? It's really bothering me, and I'm not yet sure I've got it all correct. Oh, we've also got yes, we've also got this about the 5 pieces. So within the 5 pieces, there's architects, preachers, and lawyers at minimum. So we need to remember those. But I guess we've got a lawyer and a preacher in there already. So maybe there's an architect or an architect up here somewhere. Maybe more lawyers. Right, let's focus in on Clancy. Clancy should go here. Let's first search Clancy Roottree. And if not, we'll look up that Clanced. What did I... Clanced Trust. Okay. The Clanced, pronounced Clancid. There we go. Not Clanced, not Clanced, Clancid. The Clancid Trust is a highly unusual corporate arrangement named after Clancy Edward Roottree, who was Elias's son and the Roottree Candy Company's head lawyer at the time. Right, let's stop there. Yes, okay. Oh, that's not Clancy, that's Clancy. Why did I think that was Clancy? Carl. So Pop forced Clancy, this guy, to send Carl to the academy. So Carl's granddad sent him to the academy. Our branch of the family, since we still have the Roottrees name, I'm not sure Clancy would have even wanted it. I think this was talking about when the president moved from Elias to someone else, and people thought it would go into this line, but it actually went over here to Zach. Anyway, sorry. Right. So this person is called Clancy, and I think we did check that already, but there's a few. Yeah, we didn't know which Clancy it was. It's probably the first Clancy, and then a Clancy Juniors. Oh, maybe they're both Clancy. Clancy. Okay. Let's keep reading. Let's not get too distracted. We're one sentence in. Clancy Edward Roottree was Elias's son and the Roottrees company's head lawyer, so he is a 5-piece. So this information is going in here. The firstborn 5-piece is a woman. Okay, on we go. Due to its unique nature, it's often brought up in online discussions about financial matters and inheritance as an oddity. The company mandates that a fixed percentage of its profits are split every quarter among bank accounts representing each direct relative of Elias and Gwyneth. An account is created for each blood relative at birth and first accessible when they reach 18. The actual numbers so I'm going to do this because there may be people on this list who are not 18 yet, and that might prove relevant. So I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to go to temp, which is our kind of catch-all for a bunch of crap that we don't know where it goes yet. And I'm just going to type in it might not be important because the game didn't ask us to do that. The game just asked us to identify people. Nonetheless, I'm putting it in. The actual numbers have never been fully disclosed to the public, but due to an ever-increasing success of the company, it is a significant amount of money. Of course, the Clancy Trust is known for being... bloody saxophone in my ear. The Clancy Trust is known for being essentially impossible to get around due to many checks and balances written into it. Still, there have been a few situations in which family members have tried to forcibly remove another member from the trust. Most details online are pretty vague since the matters are handled internally. The only information you'll discover from University Law School, which apparently had a guest lecturer talk about the Roottrees versus RR in 1994. So I'm guessing that's R Roottree, maybe? While looking into the Clancy Trust, you'll often find mentions to the 5-piece guarantee, which went into effect at the same time. So let me just make a note. I'm going to do it now. But in case it leads me off down a wormhole and I forget, I'm going to make sure to look these up. So Roottrees versus RR and the 5-piece guarantee. Wow, my writing. Wow. It's really bad. Okay. Is there anything else here I want to save as notes? I think it's fine. Nothing is giving us direct information. So let's look up this. Nope. I did the wrong thing. Are we doing this or not? Spider search. Roottrees versus RR. You find very few details about this particular incident with regards to the Clancy Trust. A student that attended the lecture about it wrote the following on a Legal Oddities website. From what you can tell, RR attempted I bet we're going to find out who that is through inference at some point. RR attempted unsuccessfully to remove a fellow family member from the trust. It was said that RR attempted 2 arguments. First, the person in question was born out of wedlock, and second, they committed a significant crime against a fellow family member. Still, due to ironclad wording of the Clancid Trust, it was impossible to remove any direct descendant of Elias Rootree without completely dissolving the trust. There is no additional information online. Okay, let's just wang that in there in case it becomes important later. So far, unclear, but let's open the list and let's go to Roottree. Now, Rootree, Raina, and Riley, I think, are the two kids, right? Yes, so it's not going to be them. Rootree Robert and Rootree Ronald are the two suspects to be RR. We don't know where they belong. I don't remember putting them in the tree, so I think they are, as of yet, a mystery. Let's go back to the 5-piece guarantee. The 5-piece guarantee, in combination with the Clancid Trust, was Elias Rootree's attempt to ensure the Roottree Candy Company would remain a family business for eternity. In isolation, it's somewhat baffling. The yearly salary of Rootree's president is always locked into the price of a single pack of 5 pieces. When the 5-piece guarantee went into effect, this was 25 cents a year. Now it's closer to $4. Combined with the Clancid Trust, however, it makes a bit more sense. Elias wanted to ensure that only his direct relatives could afford to be president. And he knew that because their passive income was tied to the profits of the company, they would have a vested interest in keeping the company as profitable and successful as possible. Whether or not this was a smart or successful business decision is widely debated both online and in person by economics enthusiasts of legal expertise. Okay, it's not giving us much, has it? Clancy Edward Root. Why are you here? Shh. Let's look up this guy. Clancy Edward Rootree. Let's have what happens again if you... There we go. Okay, great. One, two, three. Okay, something is incorrect then. Is it this picture? Oh, we did guess at this person, didn't we? Okay. Let's look at the miracles again. Now we've looked at this. Miracle Rootree. The final child of his generation was nearly torn apart by health problems. With the power of God on his side, he persevered. He triumphed over the complications and spread the healing word of the Almighty. So he is a preacher. 23 years later, Miracle Rootree Jr. appeared. Yeah, this is all adding up because 3 generations of miracles. Miracle Jr., Miracle the Third, and Miracle Rootree in his 68th year on God's earth. So I kind of feel okay about this. Do we feel it's him in the picture? Why do we think it's him? He's got the tie. He's got the miracle tie. So she's like, I didn't think it was fair Miracle made it in, since he's technically a 5-piece. I guess my inner child still holds a grudge even after all these years. So this is meant to be the next generation, but Miracle's in. Now, she held a grudge because in this photo, I think she and... yeah, Angie and I both wanted to be in the photo since Miracle was in it and the three of us were about the same age. So this is Miracle, isn't it? Are we sure that's Clancy? Now, yes. Okay. Hang on. Okay, Gwendoline. That's why we had Gwendoline, because we were like, it's Aunt Gwyn. All over the place here. But do you remember? Oh no, hang on. Aunt Gwendoline. Sorry, this is not Gwendoline. This is Margolite. Aunt Gwendoline. Aunt is... one of these people. Why do I have Margolite up here? Okay, because that's the only person who begins Margot. Okay, that seems fine. Let's focus on what we're doing here. I think that's Miracle. The youngest 5-piece. So I think... what's this say? Once you verify this... let's go over here. Let's go to another one. You'll be able to add bonus photos. Great. Okay, that's fine. So I think that little photo of him as a kid can go there. That's right. And we verified this person so we can put more photos of him in. Right. Okay. Pretty sure that's Miracle based on the tie. Why do we think... now, there's a photo and she said someone looks like Pop from the old photo. And Clancy is Pop to her. So, this person we've put as Pop or Clancy. And then in the next generation, this person is the person that looks like him, I think. So, I wanted Eli to stand on the left, since to me he looked a lot like Pop did in the old one. But I was outvoted by my brothers. They insisted the four of us stand together, so we clumped up in the middle and let everyone in filter in behind and in front of us. So that's Lauren. I think Lauren's confirmed as well, right? Yeah, that is Lauren. And he's the only one that looks like someone from this one. Pop, who is all the way up to the left. Okay, so I'm happy. I'm happy that that's Clancy Edward Roottree or Pop to Lauren. I'm happy that's Miracle Roottree the preacher. Why do we think he was a lawyer? Let's double check. Clancy Edward Roottree, Elias's son and the Roottree Company's head lawyer. So I'm happy he's a lawyer. That's great. I'm just double checking all my thoughts. So let's double check Clark Rafferty, right? This is it. C and J and D. Die Hard Dazzler. There's a chance he's not a musician anymore. Let's yes, I remember now. We used this mole and sort of his eyebrow shape as our kind of anchor point, didn't we? for saying that that was Jim. And so the other person we thought was Clark. That was our... what? Either way, it was one of them, and we switched them around. And how many Clarks are there? There's one Clark. Maybe he's not a musician because he was only a musician for a little while. Let's just look this up. Yeah, that's all we got. You can't find anything else about Die Hard Dazzler, the band, or the single, so all we have to do is scan the evidence. And we could listen to the track. Now, I believe there was something about all the cheating that went on. Clark Rafferty married Jane LaRue, split up after getting with the younger LaRue, had Rafferty LaRue kids. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna move these up to the 5 pieces, just so I can know who I'm talking about. Clark's getting married, in my opinion, far too young. He's barely 18. Okay, that's about. Clark is. Yeah. And he married Danielle. They got divorced. C and J of C and J and D were Clark and Jane. And then Clark got with Kim LaRue, having an affair. So they must have split up. They got together and then they were kids. So we might be able to get this line at some point, I think. Like, I don't know where our other lines of evidence are going to come from to pull this up, but how are we going to figure out what Clark did after all the music stuff? Right. Periodicals. This is where we learned about the music stuff. Clark never knew his father, so no. Clark and I grew up like brothers. Clark and I grew up like brothers. So this is James Roottrees and Clark Rafferty. Cousins, but because Jacob died in the war, these two were close. Carry on. He's a much better jingle writer than songwriter, so he's still a musician. When was this? 1979. Can I don't know how to. Clark Rafferty, yeah, not much. These times, is he a writer? He's not a screenwriter. Maybe he became an author. I don't know. I think we're chasing a goose tree. A goose tree? I think we're chasing a goose tree. I think we are on a wild bark chase and chasing a goose tree. We're barking up the wrong goose. Okay. Who else can we get down? Have I written any other notes to myself? Not really. I mean, while we're on the subject of Jim, can we get any further down here? What did we learn from Jim Roottrees? That's fine. And what do we learn from here? Like, I just need him to talk about his kids just like once. Blah 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 blah. Rolling on down to the city. It's now in your evidence folder. Diamonds. Okay, Jim writes the majority of the songs, plays the guitar. Diamond and the band never had a hit, but its fans refer to themselves as the Diamonds Dazzlers. Okay, let's look up Diamond Dazzlers. I was just checking. I looked up all the things that I said I should look up before getting distracted, but I did. I checked up the Roottrees versus RR and the 5-piece guarantee. I did it. I didn't get too distracted. Do I want to write this down? I think if I know I can go back through my search thing, I'll be fine. Diamond Dazzlers, Cherry Tree, Sound of Laughter, and then maybe one of these things will lead us on to just a little bit more about Jim, and then maybe about Clark as well. All right, let's start here. Oh, we got printing. That's good. Printing Wolf, whatever that means. Diamonds Dazzlers is the name of the official fan club for Jim Diamond. So Jim and Diamond. You'll find a forum post called Cool Things You Got in the Mail on a random forum about video games. One reply mentions that Jim and Diamond still send out a Christmas card every year to Diamond's Dazzlers. That's pretty cool. It's accompanied by some pictures, as well as some history of the fan club. Apparently, even though it's no longer available to join, Jim and Diamond still honour it themselves personally. That's cool when people do that. There's a fierce debate in the subsequent posts about whether that's cool or pathetic. Well, I said it was cool. You sign up to a fan club, you get fan club service. Now, among the pictures of Christmas cards from over the years, only one is relevant. The card from '96 included a picture of Jim and Diamond's young son, Wolf. Okay, that's why we're printing Wolf. As well as a note about his daughter's band, the Floozies. Okay, I'm going to tick that off. So, the Floozies. So I'm going to look up the Floozies once I've looked up the things I was going to look up. Let's have a quick look at the evidence. Oh yeah, I've remembered now. When you look up evidence, you're like, here's how many clues are related to this piece of evidence. And I don't really know how that works. Higher the number, the more there is to find. As you progress, these numbers will change. When you find more evidence or lock in family members, new discoveries will be added to the list. Old evidence will become less useful. Trust your intuition. If a piece of evidence seems too good to be true, take a closer look at the people or phrases it mentions. One of the most satisfying revelations comes from retracing a path you thought was fully explored, armed with a new perspective. It still doesn't... As you progress, these numbers will change. What numbers? This number? I don't think this number has gone down. This has 11 numbers? Wow. Okay, don't get distracted. Why was I here? Oh, because we got a new thing. You find a picture of a Christmas card from Jim and Diamond to their fan club in 1996, 2 years ago. The description said it included a picture of his son Wolf listening to his parents' latest music. He looks thrilled. He looks absolutely thrilled about it. Latest music. You're making music in 1998. Okay. Or 96. How many kids have they got? And did it say son Wolf. We don't know if Wolf is the oldest or the youngest, do we? Young son Wolf. If his daughter's got a band, she's probably older. Do I want to chase this up or do I want to go back and retrace the steps? So let's have a go back and just make sure I'm writing down that. So cherry tree and sound of laughter. And those are Jim and Diamond songs. Okay, right. I will go back to those. I'll stick with this line because I think maybe we can sort out whether son or daughter is oldest. It sounds like the son's the youngest. But let's have a little look. We can probably also look up the floozies in the periodicals as well in the music thing. Oh, look. MP3. Ah, jeez. Okay, the Floozies are an all-female punk band operating out of New York City. They're mentioned in passing in an online review from earlier this year. Cool. Periodical. Apparently they were the opening act for the band the reviewer actually came to see. The reviewer writes, she normally doesn't review the opening act, but this one was unusual. And not because of the music, which she describes as loud, fast and repetitive. But not in the good way. The trio was extremely cagey about their identities. The reviewer asked the venue who they were, and she was told they were rumoured to be the children of other famous musicians and didn't want that to be why they became popular. Okay, so I bet one of these and these lot. I think these three, maybe this one, are the Floozies. My guess. Back to the article. The reviewer also mentioned that for an underground and unknown band with no following, their equipment was all extremely expensive, and not only were they selling CDs, but they only cost $1. They were probably losing a fortune. The reviewer said although she bought a copy, she would be unlikely to ever listen to any of it again, except maybe Beef Baby. Beef Baby, the 7th track. There's no picture of the Floozies performing live, but the cover of the CD they're selling, Conquistador, Conquistador, has been added to your evidence. So let's have a little look. And we'll search those things as well. That's what I was writing down. What have we got? Floozies, Floozies, Floozies. What is the ordering of this? Maybe these things, so we've got sort of like promotional things here and then family photos, but then this list is in the middle. Okay, Conquistador. Is that not? There's no picture of the Floozies performing live. Okay, so this doesn't mean this isn't a Floozie. Candy, Nikki, Nina. Okay, let's where do we want to put this? Where do we want to put this? Where's the bloody the Floozies. I'm going to put this here for now, even though it's kind of... Oh, struggling. Even though it's not strictly in this line of the tree, it's sort of related. So we'll see. There's only one. And is that a person? That is a person. Okay, so this is Candy, because that's a guitar, not a bass, because it's got 6 strings, and that's all I know. And that's Wolf. I don't need to highlight anything to. Maybe I will. The description included a picture of his son Wolf, so I'm going to stick that in there just to Blah, 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 blah. No worries. Right. Right. Now, where are we with this? How are we going to place these people? One of these floozies is Wolf's sister. So let's look up Beef Baby. No. No. Let's look up the floozies in periodical. Probably nothing going to appear, but let's find out. Right. Well, we tried. Let's look up Beef Baby. Beef Baby is a song by the Floozies. You can't actually find anything else about it, but with a name like that, it's hard not to speculate on the subject matter, isn't it? Could it be a euphemism? Or about a newborn cow? Perhaps the Floozies are holding a grudge against a toddler. That'd be baby beef. It certainly piques your curiosity. If only you had the time or resources to look into it further. I mean, I do. This is my entire job. I'm being paid to do this. And I have a computer with a dial-up. I mean, what more resources could I need? Let's look up Conquistadore. Nope. That is not what I meant to do. Let's have another crack at that. Okay, Conquistadore just leads us back to this. I think that's going to give us absolutely nothing. That feels like a bit of a dead end, but we. Okay. Is child? Yes, okay. So I think because she's touring and that was a young child, this is Wolf. Okay, that's our third person. And we'll find out who was wrong as well. Great. I mean, I think it definitely was Clark because I think we took his occupation away. Nothing optional. Okay. Okay. Great. Great. That's kind of what we thought. Booyah indeed.
You're listening to It's time for your headlines. Once an hour, every hour, on the 45. It's a bizarre development to an already tragic tale. In the wake of the accident that took his life, some of Carl Roottrees' belongings have apparently gone missing. Most notably, a framed photo of the Roottree family from the mid-1970s that Carl had on his office wall. We interviewed a local psychologist about who would do such a thing and why. For that article, search online for WRTD News. Again, that's WRTD.
Okay, that's good. We can look that up. Now, I think... Yeah. That's this picture that our employer gave us. Not long before they were set to return, you heard something odd on WRTD radio. The photo you were given may have been stolen from Carl's office. The newscaster mentioned you could search online for WRTD to find out more. I've written down WRTD, and I will do that. I'm just realizing I need to... I'm going to go back to this. Cherry tree and sound of something. I searched the floozies, didn't I? Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to search these things and maybe something will come up. Because I've written them down, I was going to search them. Okay, nothing really happening. Sound of Laughter was an album by Jim and Diamond from '89. You can't find a picture of the cover. It doesn't appear to be very successful. Reviews are middling even from fans. Some basic liner notes exist on a Jim Roottrees fan page. States the lyrics and guitar credited to Jim Roottrees and the vocals are credited to Diamond LaRue. Nothing on Jim Roottrees fan page. Have we looked up Diamond LaRue before? Yes, we have. Or rather, it just brings us back to the Jim Diamond page. Jim and Diamond page. Is there anything obvious? Like, is there a picture of a guitar in the Jim and Diamond family? Not really. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to double check. This is a mystery. The lyrics of the song contain no clues. I was just double checking. Backup vocals by LaRue's. Are these children? No. Sorry, these two and maybe this guy looks very young. That's why I was just asking about the LaRue's. But I think if I'm following the storyline properly, I think Jim and Diamond and Clark and Jane made music. Oh, shit. And then I think Kim and... What did it say? What did it say? Yeah, so Clark and Jim sort of ran the band, I'm guessing. Or ran the song. And all of the Rues, Jane and Diamond did the backup vocals. And maybe Kim as well, if she got involved in stuff somehow. I don't know when that happened. Okay. How I don't know. How I haven't locked in this Rafferty is beyond me. Okay. So I kind of want to do a couple of things. I want to do that news search. I just quickly, while it's on my mind, want to just confirm this person is called Clancy, because I definitely at the beginning of this episode I was like, I thought this was Clancy and then he was Clancy and there's multiple Clancys, but if there's a Clancy Jr. it makes sense that this would be Clancy Jr. but that's not guaranteed, but that's kind of how names work. So I'm in the 5-piece 3 line. Pop forced Clancy to send Carl to the academy. Now, Pop is Clancy. So this has got to be Clancy. I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense, right? Now, what do we know about Clancy Roottrees Jr.? I don't think anything else is going to come up on that because we searched... No. I asked Clancy, her brother, if it ever came up that a woman could take over. After all, Angie's older than Zach, and I'm the next oldest of us all. So this is Lauren talking to Clancy, her brother, son of Clancy, about the succession of the company. Where are we reading this? He just laughed. Angie's older than Zach, and I'm the next oldest of us all. Now, Zach is the one that took over. Angie's older than him. Remember, we talked about him being the oldest son of the oldest child of the the main mother and father. So he has a sister, an older sister, and this is Angie. Morden. Yes, makes sense. Morden. This person is a Morden as well. I mean, this person is a Morden. This person is a woman. He doesn't have the Roottree name because the non-blood related spouse is a man. Whew, we got this. We're cool. And then Lauren is the next. Is next oldest of them all. So in terms of the next generation, the three oldest people are Angie, Zach, Lauren. Okay. That information was available to us earlier, but I think it was during a period when there was like a lot of stuff I was thinking about, and I was sort of struggling a little bit, but I'm back. Why was I here? I was trying to work something out, and it's gone. It's just all gone. I think I was trying to work out who this person was. That's right. It ended up going to Zach. Then we got the stuff about Sam, who we don't know anything about. Clancy. So Carl's dad swore he saw Sam working on the farmhands, the Anderson farm. Yep. That's unrelated to anything I'm thinking about right now. And then she starts talking about her son. Our generation was never so bad. So of the free spirits, Carl's the only one who seems to have sort of some kind of discipline. Like he's an actual business person. We got musicians and writers and priests, I guess. Zach. So Zach's sister, Angie, is raising twins. Now, have I put this in the right slot? Zach's not doing a bad job. So why are the Zach things not in 5-piece 1? They should be. So you right, you are going to go in 5-piece 1. And this is going to be Angie family. I can type Angie's family. Now, this was a distraction from something else. Okay, I'm just double checking. Right, I've looked up Cherry Tree. I've looked up the sound of laughter. Let's look up the news report while we're here, and then we'll call it an episode. WRTD News is your local investigative jazz radio station. During their news segments, at 45 minutes on the hour, they've been talking about a plane crash. Pause. Well, it wasn't 45 minutes past the hour, was it? It says 9:15. 9:15. Back we go. This most recent hour, they also talked about a picture taken from Carl's office after the plane crash and promised an interview online with a psychologist. During the interview, it's revealed there wasn't a break-in. Instead, someone with a key to the office took the picture after discovering the pipes burst due to a recent storm. This means it was likely someone close to the family who is aware of the photo's history and wanted to save it. The psychologist, however, also goes on to posit the culprit had an alternative agenda, specifically because nobody in the family has come forward to say they have it in their possession. A comment below the article says, "Don't believe their lies. This is just another instance of the Roottrees curse being a real, true thing. I bet you Carl was murdered and the picture had evidence on it." So let's start a little page at the bottom, and we're going to call it Meta Mystery. And in the Meta Mystery, we're like, who hired us? What was the cause of the crash? Anything to do with that? So we're going to say there wasn't a break-in. Someone I'm going to stick that in there. Nobody in the family came forward to say they had it in their possession. So this is in regards to stolen photo of Carl and family. Okay, so while everything else is going on, we're also going to keep an eye on whatever the hell the overarching mystery is. Who is the shadowy person that appears at our door and gives us stuff? And is there anything else going on that we're going to end up sort of investigating? Obviously, this information we can't log because the only way we can log information is in the family tree. So I guess my kind of question that doesn't have an answer, and I don't want you to answer it, is there going to be stuff we're going to have to keep track of sort of in our minds? Just kind of like, what is the story behind the game? Are we going to be offered clues about things outside of the family tree? Now, I'm going to end the episode in a sec, but my question is to me, not to you. Where are we going from here? I felt like we hit a bit of a dead end here. I think there might be a chance to pick it up with whoever the hell these people are. My guess is still, obviously one of them is this person. And I think the other two might be these people, or at least 2 out of 3 of these people. Probably these two, because this person's married, so they're probably not touring with a bunch of young LaRues. I mean, this person is a Roottrees, but, you know, daughter of LaRue. So we might be able to pick this up. I think I also want to just see if we can figure out these Roottrees, these 5 pieces people, because I feel like that's the key to unlocking the stuff below them. And we've got 2 5 pieces we haven't figured out yet, but I think we can. So let's make a note to investigate the 5 pieces further for names and shit. I'm gonna write and shit. I'm gonna do it. N' shit. I might actually do this now. I might actually record these episodes back to back, so still in my mind. So that's what I'm going to do next episode, I think. And see if we can pick up any of the loose ends we sort of run with and figure out what's wrong with Rafferty Clark. I still think he was a musician. I think he's that guy. I think we did good work. I think the mole made sense. I think that made sense to me. I think that was a subtle but clever visual clue in the game. That's how I read it. I remember it at the time, and I thought we've done the work there. And we know his name's Clark, and we know he was in a band, but one of those things is not the final answer. Ooh, interesting. Sorry, I'm noticing it says C and J on his flower, which is another clue. So this is Clark and Jane. And this is Jim and Diamond. So not only do we have the mole, we have their initials over their faces. So I'm very sure this is Carl. I mean Clark. And so it must be his occupation. It must have been like such a short-lived career that actually he's not classed as a musician now. He's moved on. I need to find some kind of where are they now. Anyway, I've been waffling on about the end of this episode, the beginning of the next episode. We'll get there. Thank you if you're still here. I hope it's entertaining for you while I kind of lose my mind a bit and we're slowly piecing together this family tree and work out who all these people are. Some of them are in entertainment. Some of them are preaching. I think we're going to figure this out. I think we might be able to get through here because there's going to be lots of information on Gwyn Roottrees because she's an actor. Yeah, so let's try and get these two people and then see if that opens up the trees beneath them. Thank you for joining me. Press all the relevant buttons that are underneath the video. Down there somewhere. If you enjoy that kind of thing, it will probably help me in some way. I don't know. I mean, this is not a capitalist venture of yet. Maybe one day, if I keep doing it for fun. But right now, yeah, it is just for fun. So yeah. You hang up.